All right, and Walker here with Sherdog.com in front of the T-Mobile Arena for UFC 239. I'm joined by the exceptional Sherdog.com's own Patrick Auger. Patrick, how you feeling, my man?
Oh, I'm feeling great, man. Been out here at the fan experience, living life. You know me?
Yeah. So I'm here on duty along with the great man behind the camera, Mike Sloan. You are on vacation,
yes.
So you're getting to see this from a whole different perspective. So please share with me what you have witnessed as a fan and how this event matches up to others that you've attended.
So I mean, it's great. I think I was here last year as a fan. They've upped the level, especially at the fan experience. They got a pool this year. They got some more stuff outside that's going on that's pretty great. You had all the classic fighters. You had the autograph lines. You had the meet and greets, the games, everything. It's one of those things where if you're a real UFC fan and you like, in the Vegas area at all, or you just want to go to Vegas on vacation, coming here for this event the week long, it's well worth it.
All right. So, of course, all of this culminates with the main event tomorrow night between light heavyweight champion Jon Jones, challenged by Thiago Santos, who in I believe his third fight up from middleweight. Now, of course, we know Jon Jones is perhaps the greatest fighter that's ever walked the face of the earth, and I don't think this is something that we're going to debate about very long here. But Thiago Santos is a guy who has a lot of power, has pulled off a couple of upsets in the past. Do you think he gets it done?
I don't think he gets it done. I think he's got a chance. I mean, it's not black and white. It's the fight game. Anything can happen. Santos has that missile power that we've seen against Blachowicz and Manuwa. Just, he can take your head off. He's always got that in his back pocket. But Jones is too smart. And people forget that Jones hasn't really, he's done a lot of stand-up lately, but he's got a really good ground game too, and that's going to give Santos problems. I just don't see a way, barring a Jones mistake, I don't see a way Santos gets it done.
Right. I mean, one thing that is very interesting, too, I mean, we've seen these great moments get built up. A fighter who we know is the champion, is going to reestablish themselves as a champion, and then run into that one obstacle. Now, while we may not think that's going to happen with Jon Jones, I know you in particular think that could happen in the co-main event between the featherweight and bantamweight champion Amanda Nunes, who's fighting against the former bantamweight champion Holly Holm. Notable also for the reason that Nunes is going to be the first double champ to go down in weight and defend that title. So I know you did say this on the panel discussion show Off the Chain earlier in the week, but how do you think Holly Holm gets it done against Nunes?
I think Holly Holm gets it done with range and being patient. I think it's going to be all about patience. I mean, we saw how close it was when you had the patient fight between Shevchenko and Nunes, and they, very close split decision. Wasn't exactly the most exciting bout, but Holm waits for her opponent to be aggressive. That's where she thrives. Even against Cyborg, rewatching that just this past week, the more aggressive Cyborg got, the more Holm was able to get in there with the counters. If Nunes, gets down or thinks she might be down on the scorecards round 3 or 4, and her coaches are saying we got to, play it as though we might be down and gets a little bit more aggressive, I think that gives Holm an advantage. I also think Holm has a lot of stylistic problems for Nunes. I mean, that range, that length, I can really see it being an issue. I don't know, if she'll get it done, but if anybody is going to take out Nunes at this point, I think it's Holly Holm.
Now, one thing that I think is very notable here that when we talk about the MMA gods and how they frown upon so many things happening. The other night, Amanda Nunes pretty much clean swept everything that she was nominated for at the World MMA Awards. It felt like, this acceptance of her greatness. And this fight is even being built as, GOAT and GOAT main and co-main events.
Yeah.
Last time that we've had, the last several times actually, that we've had these sort of discussions before the fight, I'm reminded of Rose Namajunas shocking Joanna Jacek. I'm reminded of Holly Holm, Amanda Nunes' opponent, shocking the world against Ronda Rousey. So if you are superstitious, it is a good time to be Patrick Auger.
Oh yeah, no, I'm telling you, betting lines are good for me, baby. Woo, I'm on vacation, I can do that. It's gonna be great. I think either way, hopefully it's an exciting fight. We'll see. I think you got a perfect storm.
Through the magic of television and special effects, Patrick Auger has suddenly morphed into Oscar Willis of the Mac Life. Now we are no longer from the T-Mobile Arena. We're actually in the Palms Casino.
You wouldn't have guessed. You wouldn't have noticed if we didn't say anything though.
Probably would have had.
It's actually unbelievable.
It's like just no idea how these things work.
I
but
sound
it worked.
different. Anyway.
So now we do have more of a card to talk about. Some technical issues prevented us from finishing the previous
I hate it when you
video.
can't finish, man. It's crazy. What? Go on.
Well then, so we left off at Jorge Masvidal versus Ben Askren, and this is a fight that a lot of people are very much anticipating, even more so by the web traffic than the main and co-main event. So Oscar, give me your pick. Who do you think wins this fight, and what do you think this means for the welterweight title picture?
Absolutely. It's. I think it's the quote unquote people's main event. That's a slogan said around. So I think this is the one everyone's looking forward to the most, and perhaps the reason why they are looking forward to it the most is because, hey, it's a classic. It's the grappler versus the striker, and for whatever reason, even though we've seen that played out a few times, it's still interesting, right? You're like, well, can he stop the takedown? And that's going to be the story of the fight. I think in the first minute, you will know how the fight's going to go. If Ben gets him down, I don't think Ben will finish Jorge. I think he's too tough. But if Ben can get him down, hold him down, I don't know if Jorge can get up from that, you know? So it's all about if Jorge can stuff it. And if he can, then I think Ben's not going to have a great time, essentially, especially with the genuine ill feeling I think Jorge feels towards him. That being said, I am going to pick Ben Askren. I do think that even though he got FU'd onto his head by Robbie Lawler, he showed that he can still, if needs be, just physically grab you and take you down. And I think actually if you look at their stature, Askren's got that sort of wrestler thickness, and Jorge doesn't. So I think he'll be able to just wrestle him to the ground if he has to.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by this fight for multiple reasons. I mean, Jorge Masvidal is a guy who has been slept on for a long time in both the welterweight and lightweight divisions. He's shown himself to be extremely versatile. And keep in mind, this was a guy who was able to convince one judge that he defeated Damian Maia in UFC 217. And you just wonder what Askren is going to be able to do to him on the ground. So I'm very, very much anticipating that. But I will go with Askren as well. I think that style of wrestling, the level of pressure that he's able to put on, it really only takes him one takedown per round to really dominate this fight. You figure he gets 2 of those first 2 rounds, probably could coast through to the 3rd round, but I see it going to the decision as well. All right, so next up, another fight that has major implications for the future of the title is Luke Rockhold making his debut at light heavyweight.
That's good, didn't he?
He looked very good, and this was the first time.
Multiple weights. Sorry.
Right. But this was the first time we've seen Luke Rockhold seem, almost happy leading up to a fight, and smiling and friendly in some ways. So he does have a tough test against Jan Blachowicz. Now, I've found it very interesting that he's been very dismissive of Jan as an opponent.
Yeah.
And last time he was so dismissive of an opponent, we remember UFC 199.
He stood right over there.
Right, as we are literally standing in the Pearls of Palms, waiting for the Hall of Fame ceremony to begin, and Michael Bisping is just over there, ready to accept the Hall of Fame award that he largely owes to Rockhold's chin. So, so Oscar, tell me, do you think Rockhold is making a big mistake by essentially sleeping on Jan Blachowicz?
Do you know what? I think he is. I actually think he is. They say win or learn, but I don't think Rockhold has learned. I think he is very overconfident. And hey, if you walk like that and you talk like that and you look like that, probably you would be. I don't know. I don't look as good as Rockhold, but one day I hope to. Anyway, that's besides the point. I think Luke is overconfident. However, that being said, we've seen guys move up, and they look much better without the weight cut. I do think the weight cut was a lot for him. I think he did have to cut a lot of weight. He looks much bigger at 205 on the scales today, especially at the ceremonials. He looks very thick, great lats. He looked good. But I do think he'll win, but it wouldn't surprise me if he got chin checked again.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't be the biggest shock in the world, but I think one important thing about this too is that it's kind of been implied that if Rockhold gets the win, he is next in line to face the winner of John Jones versus Thiago Santos. Do you think that would be the appropriate match?
Yeah, why not? Who else is there? It's not Johnny Walker. He had his arm falling over, so Rockhold.
Agreed there. It's a fight you definitely can sell. So depending on how that fight goes, we'll have a lot to talk about when we wrap things up tomorrow night. All right, and to kick off the main card, Diego Sanchez, who is about to be inducted in the Hall of Fame for his legendary fight against Clay Guida, will be facing Michael Chiesa. A very interesting style matchup. Yeah. Both guys having a lot of pressure, a lot of groundwork in their styles. And of course Diego Sanchez being the older guy, the guy who, quite frankly has been a lot more shop worn, but has shown himself recently to be able to upset some of the younger guys that have come his way. Alex White, or excuse me, Craig White. No, Alex White, sorry. And
I think it was Craig White, wasn't it? I don't know, you got me.
And Mickey Gall.
Yeah.
So do you think Diego Sanchez can defy Father Time again?
No, but I didn't think he could defy it against Mickey Gall either, or against Mr. White. So yeah, I say no. Maybe if the referee asked some questions at the beginning, that could give Diego a window to answer and could win by sort of time forfeit if Chiesa had to go home that night or something. But no, I think it's not to disrespect the skill of Diego, but I mean Michael Chiesa is much bigger than him. I think he looks much bigger, like certainly in length and styles. And I think Michael Chiesa is good. He's a very good fighter. Mickey Gall's still a prospect. Perhaps maybe was a little bit found out by that fight. I think this is like a step up for Diego that he's not really at that level anymore.
Yeah, major step up in terms of where Chiesa stands, and he's a guy who was very close to title contention at lightweight very recently, so very dangerous matchup for Diego Sanchez. So without going through every single preliminary fight that we have in store for us tomorrow, Oscar, just give me your most anticipated one that people might be sleeping on.
I like Randa Marcos versus Claudia Gadelha. I think that's a fun fight. I feel like they've got a history. There's a bit of tension between them. I don't know if that's because they clashed outfits at the media day, both denim on denim. It's a brave choice. But there's certain times when fighters face off, there's really nothing there and it doesn't really matter. It's all a bit sort of for show. But when they do, I can sense there's a bit of tension. There's something in the air. So I think that could actually, if Claudia shows up, and I don't know if she's done that recently. If Claudia shows up, I think that could be a great scrap. Like a real, I can see that being like a nice back and forth scrap, So that.
I definitely a good pick. I'm really looking forward to Gilbert Melendez versus Arnold Allen. A fight to show exactly what Melendez has left and to see where Arnold Allen can go, as he's one of the more promising prospects in the lighter weight classes. Another one to look out for, Chito Vera and Nolan Hernandez. Obviously a lot of drama about who Chito was going to fight. So we finally have an answer in Nolan Hernandez's UFC debut. But all in all, a very good card. A lot of good stuff to look forward to tomorrow night. So stick with Sherdog.com, and we will have all the updates for UFC 239. He's Oscar Willis from the Mac Life. I'm Ant Walker. You know what to do. Stay beautiful, stay positive, stay sexy. I'll see you when I see you.